If you look at a chart just like this, it's very hard to understand what's going on. But if you throw on the monthly service indicator, you can see that the price couldn't get above this structural support level when price was trading to the left. And what happened? If it's not going above, it's going below. And that's precisely what happened. Knowing where the structural support levels are and structural resistance levels are will be an absolute game changer in your trading and investing journey. In this video, I'm going to take you through a number of charts and I'm going to show you how well structural levels can make you money. You'll find these levels to be the ultimate technical levels. When you understand how to create through learning the CTKS method and applying it, or just applying the indicator in the monthly service and then reading it, you will find that you can take money out of the markets anytime you want. Trading is not a zero-sum game, as investing is not a zero-sum game either. When you're buying, somebody else wants to sell. In fact, it's just pooled money. Your gain inside financial markets is not somebody else's loss, and your loss is not somebody else's gain. There are literally millions and millions of participants. They're all buying and selling for different reasons. Financial markets pay you a profit when you're synchronized, and you make a loss when you're desynchronized. That's all there is to it. Let's run the numbers. What you will find when you understand structural levels, you'll look at these particular percentages and you say, oh, that went down so much because it's weak. It doesn't have much structural support. Or when you see particular prices turning green, they're bouncing from structural support levels. Structure controls everything inside financial markets. That is CTKS structure. Bitcoin is another very important chart to keep your eye on. It's a very good risk sentiment indicator. It can be like gold, a flight to safety, because Bitcoin is largely becoming digital gold, plus a risk-on asset. The best of both worlds. Quite some time ago, I noted that there was a lot of structural resistance from 35,183 to 36,025. You can see that Bitcoin has not had success in getting through that area. But one thing that's very common inside financial markets, you can get a fake out before a breakout. And that's something that you want to keep your eye on. At the start of my trading and investing career, oh my goodness, I was caught so many times when price just cut below technical structure and then just massively rebounded. That's why it's far better to know the CTKS structure, and you can mark up all your own charts with the CTKS method. You can learn it for yourself. The other thing to note, there's a lot of structural support between 28,581 and 29,322. You might see I've got a couple of boxes in here, and you might say, Ken, what is that? These boxes are particular areas of support that other commentators have noted exist inside Bitcoin. Actually, there's no or very little structure there. If I just zoom into these particular areas and then I put on the indicator, you can see between 32,000 and around 32,500, people think that there's support here. There's not. There's very light structural support at 32,072 and it's lower at 31,813. The problem is that people tend to use a lot of leverage and they'll go in hard and heavy on these kind of areas, not knowing that no structure actually exists in those areas. And what about this lower one between about 30.5 to 31,000? Again, there's nothing there. There's a little bit lower and it's a very weak structural support at around that 30,487 mark, and there's a lower structural support at 30,211. But largely, there's no real structure inside these areas. You've got to be very careful about what people put out to you. When people use these round numbers, 30,000 to 30,500, that's a retail level. Retail levels are not structural levels. In crypto, we must understand where the structural levels are. If we look at Solana, which has been trading for nearly 1200 days, we pop the indicator on. If you were aware of the structural support level at $30.95 or $30.95, you would have been really good to place your orders in there, because there were some lighter structural levels, but the concept was the main markets were selling down and they dragged down crypto. The markets are all over the place at the moment, but the structure is always solid. Everybody wants to buy the bottom, but very few people are prepared to be in the market when the prices come down. They're more likely to sell than to buy. You can see that Solana has a positive fresh air gap from around this $31.48 mark up to $33. That can be a lot of money depending on how you gear your trades. Please let me know in the comments, do you understand positive and negative air gaps, because I can go into it in more depth. My personal trading strategy, I pay particular attention. I use these SLs from the service, and this is the monthly service indicator, the same one that I use for my trading you can have. And the interesting thing is that when you see price rebounding like this, it's not at all surprising to us. But if you didn't have the indicator, you'd be looking at a Solana and saying, I don't know what's happening. The one thing that we know, price is always moving SL to SL. This is just the nature of price, and you can make a huge amount of money trading SL to SL. What about on something like XRP, which has been trading for about 3,700 days? Let's pop on the service indicator, and what do we see? We see exactly the same thing. There's strong structural support at 54.43. And XRP has bounced. It's now retesting this upper area of structural support and confirming it at 54.98. You can see that if you have the structural levels, it's an absolute game changer. There's no question about it. You can make so much money from this knowledge. And you'll always see the price is moving SL to SL. If it cannot get above, it's going below. If it can't get above, it's going below. And the stronger and more SLs that are underneath a specific price, the more is the support that can actually push the upward momentum. I've been saying recently that Solana is incredibly strong. The more you look at CTKS structure, the more you'll understand. Litecoin has been around for more than 3,600 days, and when we pop on the monthly indicator, what can we see? Litecoin lost this structural support level when price was above it at 68.21. Where did it come down to and tap? This 66.45 mark. Notice the very big difference between XRP and Solana and Litecoin. Litecoin is under this 68.22 level, and that's important to understand. This structure will override price momentum. That's why you need to know it. I say that you can make a lot of money out of buying and selling at SLs. You definitely can, and I would urge you to learn the CTKS method yourself. You'll find that it can be applied to any price chart. And if you would like to get inside the service, if you're not already there, Tales from the Man Cave recommends that you do, and you can just pop on to this link and go to this link and get an incredible discount. But hurry, it's a very, very spooky Halloween sale, and it's not going to last. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.